Let us look at the fifth problem, and the fifth problem reads as follows. Write a menu-driven shell script for the following. First option is list of directories having all permissions. Second menu option is list of ordinary files with assigned permissions. Third option is count the number of directories and files separately. Fourth option is list all the file names or directory names in the present working directory which has the specified pattern. Fifth option is assign execute permission to the specified file for owner and group. The last option is to exit. I will explain each and every one option as I write the program, but for now we need to only concentrate on the menu driven program. So you are all familiar with the C programs, how to create the menus. So let's create the menu first, and then we are going to go for the other part. I have the notepad plus plus with me, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and set the language as shell. Okay. Now you know very well you have in a menu driven program you have a set of choices that comes one after the other, and you ask the user, okay, tell me your choice, and based on that you perform something, and then you repeat the menu again and again until the user says I want to exit the program. So let's assume that the user answer as of now is Y. That means the user does not want to continue. Okay, so I'm going to use a while loop that will repeatedly show the menu. I'm going to say that while the answer is equal to Y, so as long as you want to show the menu, try to show this particular menu. Okay, show the content of the menu as long as the answer is that. So let me try to create a menu, and you are all familiar. To create a menu, you may go and then you may say this is the menu, and then you may put echo, and you have done this in your C programs, and you may do like this. Okay, something of that type, and you may get this one in the middle, somewhere in the middle. Okay, and then you may say echo, and you may assign the choices. I'm going to make one extra echo here, so that maybe one echo with okay, one echo is enough. So one line extra I'm going to put. If you want to, you can put two echo. Otherwise, you can use slash minus n, so that the menu will slightly come down. Okay, that's what I'm doing. So let's look at the first option. I'm going to take the option from the question that is given over here. The first choice is a list of directories having all the permissions. I'm going to copy that. That's the first option that you're supposed to do it. Let's go for the second choice. The second choice is as is given, a list of ordinary files. Go over here and select everything. List of ordinary files with the assigned permission. I'm going to take this and I'm going to paste it as is given in the question. Then I'm going to go with the echo, and I'm going to go to the third option. What's the third option as far as the question? Count the number of directories and files separately. I'm going to copy it and just paste it. So I get the menu, and let's go for the echo and the fourth choice. And what's the fourth choice? Fourth choice is a list of all the and so on and so forth. I'll copy this one and I'm going to slightly reduce that thing. It is a bit lengthier one. So list, I'm going to say file, and let's say file, I'll reduce slightly the thing, files or directory in the, I will say instead of present working directory, I'm going to say current directory. I'm just reducing it so that the things may not go beyond the screen. Okay, I'm going to just say that with the I'm going to say with the pattern. Slightly I'm going to reduce it so that it comes up, it's going to be shown on the screen. So I've just reduced it so that it won't be very lengthier thing. Okay, list files or directory in the current directory with the pattern. Okay, so and then I have to slightly make the menu a bit lengthier one. Okay, so let's go to the fifth choice. What does the fifth choice says? The fifth choice says that assign execute permission to the specified file for the owner and group. So let me complete that one. And the last choice, why I'm typing wrong? Okay, the last choice happens to be that is to exit. But this is what is given. I'm going to copy it as is. You may not have the choice, but I will do that thing. Yeah, this is a choice, and I'm going to say echo, and I'm going to put one big dash line so that it's going to be shown like this. Okay, assign execute permission. I will slightly reduce it to the user and pattern so that it otherwise the things may look very lengthier one. That's why I'm slightly reducing the words there. You can still reduce the word, okay, but I think it is fitting in one screen here. Let's go echo, and the last one I'm going to say echo. Enter your choice. Okay, and I'm going to use this one. I will use -n. You know very well why I'm using -n, to suppress the new line, and I'm going to read the choice that the user has provided. So I'm going to read the choice. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the choice, and you know very well after that generally what you do is you create a case statement and you say case choice in. This is what you do, and there may be, if it is a first if it is a first one, if the answer is 1, then you will do something. Okay, if the answer is 2, you will do something else, and so on and so forth. But what I'm interested in is the answer number 6. What does the answer number 6 says? You want to exit it, so I will do that part first, and I'm going to say exiting. Okay, that's that. Okay, so I'm exiting, and how do I exit it? I can say answer equal to no. Remember, so what did I say? As long as the answer, look at this while loop, as long as the answer is equal to y, I continue. If the answer is no, obviously the loop will break. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do, and I will do the other part also. If the answer is 7, 8, 9, 10 or anything, I'm going to just echo a message to the user, echo wrong choice. Remember, I have not completed everything. Wrong choice, I'm going to say wrong choice. Okay, and maybe I can say echo, please start with capital, please enter a number between 1 and 6. Okay, so I'm going to do that thing, and to close the case statement, I'm going to say ESAC. That will ES, where is ESAC? Okay, so that's why I'm going to come. I'm going to put the tab here so that it looks neat. Okay, so that's how it's going to look like. Maybe. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. It now it's like a neatly formatted output. So this is what you're going to get it. Let me go and let me paste this thing. Let's see whether this part will work. I'm going to use Control C. I'm going to go to my shell here, and I'm inside BSC. I'm going to ls here to see the questions here. I'm going to create a file nano. This is exercise c5.sh. Okay, I'm going to create it. Right click and paste it, and Control O to save it, Control X to exit it. If I see that I have the exercise c5.sh, it's here, that file is there. So let me clear the content, and I'm going to say sh. Let's see whether I have done any mistake. Okay, so I get the menu here, so that's why I kept two extra space here, so that it's going to come slightly at the middle. Okay, so if I type 8 here, I must get please enter a number between 1 and 6, and if I press 6 here, I must exit out of it. So that is as simple as that. So now let me clear this clutter, and let's come back to the program now. Now we have to bother about what will happen if you are supposed to uh, show the directories having all the permissions. So let me first see that thing. So if I ls here, I have two directories here. How do I know that? Because it comes in a different color. So is that the case? No, I will use ls minus l. So when you use the long listing, you know very well, if it is a directory, it's going to start with the D. You notice that it's going to start with the D. If it is a directory, it's going to start with the D. Okay, how do I, by the way, how do I create my own directory? Suppose if I want to create a directory, then you say make directory mkdir followed by, okay, say what is your sem? You are in fourth sem. So I will use fourth sem, all in small case, because otherwise I have to touch the shift to do that thing. Fourth sem. So did I created the directory? If I ls here, you will notice that I have created the directory. Okay, how do I know that it is a directory? ls minus l. If I do it and press enter, you will notice that this is the directory. Now one thing you will notice, that whenever you create a directory, first thing is when you long list it, the first character will be D. That means it is a directory. Let's look at the permission. If you look at the first three letters over here, that is the user, that is the owner's permission. What is the owner permission? Read, write, executable. What about the group? For the group, they have a read but not write but execute permission. What about for the rest of the world? Rest of the world, the permission is read, no write but execute. Now I want to assign all the permission to everyone. How do I do that? I'm going to say chmod, okay, user group and others. Okay, I want to assign all the permission. How do I say that? Plus okay, read, write, execute all the permission to my fourth sem. So when I do that, what did I do? For the user, the permission is already there. I don't have to do this thing, but I will give it. For the user, I have read write permission. For the others, that is for the group, I have read write, and for the others also I have that thing. Now if I, let me clear this one so that I can see it properly. If I ls minus l, So if I ls minus l, you will notice that for this I have all the permission: read, write and execute. Okay. So you will notice here that this particular directory, that is fourth sem, has all the options set. So first thing you will notice that this is a directory. So that's the first thing. So it's a directory followed by all the permissions that are being set. So we have to display that one. So according to the program, according to the question, list the directories having all the permission. That means from this list, from the list that I have it over here, list of all the files and directories, I have to find that directory, not the file. So remember, all these are files. If you notice from here to here, all are files. You need to filter all the files. We don't want any files there. That means the starting letter must be D. That's the first thing. So starting letter must be D, and then it must have all the permission. So I have to filter this part, that is starting with the D and all the permission. So if I'm able to filter out those lines, remember every line is a one file. So this is one file, one line represents one file or a folder or directory in your words. So I have to filter out only those lines which have first letter as the and all the permission, and then I have to count them. How do I do that thing? So to filter out that, I can use ls minus l, and then I can use the grep command. So grep command, you know very well, starting. So the caret symbol indicates starting. So I'm going to say starting with this. Starting with this. If I do this, what's going to happen? So I will have all the listing. ls minus l, you know very well, it's going to list out all the files, that is a number of files over here. But I want only those files or those directories with that. So will I be able to, if I run this particular thing, will I be able to get only this entry, that is this entry? So in other words, I'm filtering out only the files. So if you notice over here, okay, okay, I think I have a tilde there. I don't know how it came. Okay, let me correct that thing. So this, I don't know how it came there. Okay, I have this by mistake, I suppose I have put tilde character over here. That's why I was also getting confused as to what is it. Okay, if I try to do it, you notice that I am able to, sorry about this, ignore this part. This is because of a special character that came by mistake. Okay, so let me lsl first. So this is the list, and what did I do? I filtered out. So what you notice over here, when I use ls minus l, I get all the 25 files, but when I filter, I get only that particular directory. Remember, this is the directory. Now I may have more than over that particular directory. Let's say I'm going to create mkdir, and I'm going to say fifth sem, one more folder called as fifth sem. If I ls here, you will notice that fifth sem is there. How do I set all the permissions? So chmod for user, group and others, I'm going to say read, write and execute. on fifth sem. Fifth sem is my folder. You notice that it's a folder. So if I do that, now if I will ls minus l now, you will notice that there are two files are there, two folders are there, or two directories. Remember, I constantly use the word folder and directory. Both mean same, because I'm used to Windows. I use the word folder, but both of them means the same thing, directory or folder. So let's look at the filter again. If I run the filter again, what am I going to get? So I'm going to filter out this one. What will I get? You notice that I get two things. One is the fourth sem, and other one is the fifth sem. Now the next thing is I want to count how many lines are there. How do I do that? You have a word count, command word count, and I want to count the number of lines. So two lines are there. So if I do it, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the 2, indicating that there are two lines are there. So this is what I wanted. Let me go ahead and let me finish it off that thing. So I will start with the first one. And what is the first one? So echo, and I'm going to say, okay, I need to I think I don't need to do the listing over there, but okay, now I'm going to do that part. So let's say I will get the number of files here, number of files or number of directories, nd I'll take it. And what is the command that I am supposed to do over here is I'll take this command. Okay, you can right click there and you get the command. So this is the command. It is a working command, and you know that this is a working command. So I get that thing. Now remember, if there are no files are there, if there is no files with this options are there, it's going to give me a blank thing. Let me show that thing. Suppose if I want to list this one, and if I put like this, okay, this option is not there. So if I just run it, I will get nothing. So if there are no folders are there with all the permission, you don't see anything, you see it as a blank. I don't want that thing to happen, because user will get confused why I'm not getting any output. So that's why I just count the number of directories. So if the number of directories is, I'll put dollar, if the number of directories is greater than 0, that means I can say greater than or equal to 1 or greater than 0, let's say. That means I have at least one folder is there. Otherwise, I'm going to echo and say there are no directory with all permissions. Okay, so that user will not get confused as to what happened. So otherwise what will happen is user will see a blank like this without anything. The command just runs without doing nothing. So I don't want that thing to happen. So otherwise what I'm going to do is I'm going to echo and say that what I can say is list of directories with all permissions. Okay, and I'm going to use the echo, and I will use this option. I think there is no need to echo it. I will just directly show that. I will not go for the count. Remember, there's no need for going the count. I just want the list of I want the list there. That's what they said, list of directory having all the permission. So this is what we are supposed to do. So I will get the list, and it will come list of directories with all the permission, and then you will see the output. So that's the first option. Let's go for the second one, list of files with assigned permission. Remember, list of ordinary files. So If you go here, let me clear this one, let me clear that letter, and if you know ls minus l, you notice that you know very well, if it is an ordinary file, they will have the first letter as a dash. So if you are able to filter out all the lines having dash here, then you get the list. That is what they have asked, get the list of ordinary files with their assigned permission. So how do I get that thing? So you know very well, ls minus l, you're going to get the list like this, the one. Then I'm going to use the word grep, and what is that I am supposed to say? It must start with the dash. So that's all I need to do it. So if I press enter, I will get all the files with that. Now again, there may be a chance that there may not be any files which are available. Just make the things just say, you know that this yes, after this dash over here, the next letter is r. If you notice here, the next letter, second letter is r, but what I did was I have just used the word yes here, so I won't get any output. Now there won't be any lines which are matching the yes here. So what happens if you run it? You will get a blank. Now if a user gets that kind of as a blank, they'll get confused whether what happened to that particular command. So when I filter out, what I'm going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is I will get the count of it. How do I get the count of it? wc minus l. So I get the count. If the count is 0, then I can do something. So what will happen if I do slash yes here? So I get 0. You notice that there are no files that will start with the dash and yes. Okay, so I get 0. So if it is 0, that means there are no files are there. So that I can give a message to the user saying that there are no files in this particular directory. Maybe there may not be any file. You cannot expect that there are always files in that particular directory. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this trick. Let's go to the second option. Where is my program here? Let's go to the second option, and I'm going to say number of files equal to, this is my option. Okay, I get the number of files. Again, same old thing, I'm doing the same trick. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say if number of files is greater than 0, that means you have the files with you, else you are going to say that there are no more files are there. Okay, so I'm going to copy this one, and I think that is a mistake. What was there is no ordinary files. I will just give a beautiful message. There is no ordinary file in this directory. You need to do that. Okay, now otherwise I'm going to say echo list of ordinary files in this directory, and I'm going to paste that, not this one. I'm going to paste this part, ls minus l, and that. Okay, so I got the second option there. So this is what they have asked, a list of ordinary files with the assigned permission. Remember, if the files are there, automatically you will get the assigned permissions, the files with all the permissions. Okay, you get the permissions, okay, with all the permission. Again, that is done. Next, what's the next thing? What's the next thing that I'm supposed to do here? So the third thing that I'm supposed to do is, let's look at what is that I'm supposed to do. Count the number of directories and number of files separately. So you know very well how to count number of files and number of directories, and I've already talked about it. Now what is mentioned over here is number of files. I assume that the number of files are ordinary files. Now there are options like, I think, minus r, suppose say, that will count all the directories. Okay, so uh, there is let's see whether I have let me clear the clutter here. Man on test, let's see whether I have that option, whether I have the manual for test. Okay. If you notice, if you have this minus e, you know very well the file exists. If you use minus e, it just checks whether that file exists, regardless of whether it is a directory or anything. It just checks for the file. Minus f indicates it is a regular file, that is ordinary file. Okay, and a file exists, and so on and so forth. You don't have that thing. So you have anything? Yes, that is E. I think if you go up, you'll notice that if I check for E, it just says that file exists. Okay, regardless of whether that file is a link or anything, that file exists. It just says that that file exists. Now I'm going to give you a simple option here. I'll just quit this one. Now let me use this ls minus l. Now you know that ls minus l, and you notice that if you list this, it's going to list all the ordinary files. Okay, now I'm going to say ls minus l and slash dev. You are all familiar with the dev. Let me first show you that dev here. Okay, ls minus l slash dev. You notice that these files, some files are starting with the C, some files starting with the L, and so on. You have seen this one. Okay, some files start with the L, but none of them will start with the dash. So that's the problem. Now what if I say that, okay, now use the grep and filter on dash, where is this one? Caret. Okay, dash this. I was searching for that caret symbol, suddenly I forgot where is that caret symbol. Okay, now if I do this, you will not get anything. So I assume that you are searching for the caret symbol. Okay, so that is what I assume, not the caret, the dash symbol. So that, in other words, I assume that the search is for the ordinary files, not for the special files over there. Okay, file means just ordinary file. In other words, remember, this is, even though it is listed as a file, it's actually a device. It's a character device. It's not actually a file. It is listed as a file, but it is not a file as such. It is a device. It is treated as a file. So I assume that that is when they say that they want to count the number of directories and files separately, I assume that there is a listing only for ordinary files. So how do I check for the ordinary files? You know very well, this is very simple thing. It's a child's play. So you, where is this? Okay, you list this one, list all the files. Let me first sorry about that, let me clear this clutter and then let me do it. So if you do ls this is going to give you ordinary files, and you know very well wc minus l is going to give you the count. In the same way, if I start with d, that is starting letter is d, I'm going to get the count of directories, okay, which are 4. There are 4 directories are there. Remember, if I do ls minus l, you will notice that there are 4 directories are there. 1 directory, 2, 3, 4 directories are there. So if I use this, I get the count of directories. If I use the other one, I get the count of files. So this is what I'm supposed to do it. So let's start doing it. It's a very simple thing. We need to count the number of directories and number of files separately. So let's go ahead and let's start with the first part. And I'm going to say, because they said the number of directories first, I'm going to start with the directories. So echo count of directories. So that's what they said, count the number of directories, okay, or let me say number of directories, number of directories, number of directories, okay, number of directories, and I'm going to use this, and then I will use I will suppress the new line there, and I'm going to use this one, the first one. This command is working for me, so I will just copy this one, and I will just paste it. This is for the number of directories. Now let's go with the echo, and I'm going to say, I will use minus n, and I'm going to say number of files okay, and let me take that from here only. We have a number of files, okay, this is number of directories, okay, this is number of sorry about that, number of directories and number of files. Now this is directory and this is file, so it is done. So that's all, and I'm going to use close that thing. What about the fourth option? What am I supposed to do in the fourth option? In the fourth option, list the files directories in the current directory with the specified pattern. So you specify a pattern and then list the directory in the current or the list the current file or directory in the current directory and with the current pattern. So how am I going to do it? So I need to list the content. So let me say echo, and let me ask for the pattern, because you said that with the pattern. Let me ask for the pattern. Okay, enter the pattern. Okay, again I'm going to suppress the new line here. I'm going to suppress the new line here, and I'm going to read. Let me read the pattern. I'm going to just use the word pattern, PAT for pattern. So you need to list one. Okay, so let me say echo files or directories with the pattern $PAT. Okay, let's see how to go about it. So it's a very simple thing. So whatever pattern you are giving, just use that one. Suppose say if I give the pattern as pattern is equal to D. So that means anything that starts with something that has D inside it. How do I get that thing? So ls minus L, okay, I will give it to grep, and I'm going to say $pattern. So something that starts with the D. Can you notice that? If I say pattern is equal to E, okay, anything I can say, or EX for that matter. Give me something with the EX. How do I do that? So ls minus l grep and this pattern, whatever pattern you are giving, you will notice that anything that with the EX is going to come. So that's what I'm supposed to do it. So list the content with the pattern. So as simple as that, list the content with the pattern, and you will get the thing. Now again, if there is nothing is there, it will not come as blank. Now again, you can do this one. Again, it's not really required number of files, and usual thing, you can first get the count WC minus L. That's not really required, but anyhow, I'm going to do it. Okay. So, and again, I can use the if statement. If $NF is greater than 0, then I am going to say, I need to put a space here. Then I can say whatever pattern that you are saying. Else, I can say something. Okay, then I can say that. Okay, let me take this one, cut this one, and I'm going to say that this is the thing. Okay, so I can do this one, and I can say that ls minus l grep pattern. So this is what I'm supposed to do it. Else, as usual, the default message echo, there is no file or directory with the specified pattern $pat. Okay, and I'm going to use the close the if statement. So what do I mean to say is, suppose if you, I'm not very sure whether there is a pattern called Z. I'm not very sure about it. So if I try to use the pattern is Z, you will not get anything. So again, user will get it as blank, and I don't want the user to get something blank and get confused. So I give a beautiful message to the user saying that such a pattern does not exist. Let's go to the last option there. What's the last option that we are supposed to do it? So last option is get the file and then assign the execute permission for the user and group. So let's first ask from the user, echo, enter the file name. Okay, let's get that thing, and let's read the file name. Okay, let me suppress the new line there so that it comes in the same line. Now first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just check whether that file exists. Remember, that's what they have said. I want to test whether that file exists. So let's check for the file. If the file exists, then you do something. Else you just simply say to the user that your file is not there. Okay, how do I say that? If the file does not exist, I'm going to say file $f name does not exist. Okay, so that's thing. If it exists, you need to set the permission. How do I set the permission? So I can do that by using chmod. Okay, user and group, that is what they have said. So for the file or directory specified, what is this is a question, what's the question? Okay, execute permission for the owner and group. For the user and group, I have to give execute permission for the file name $fname. Okay, and if you want, you can display that echo execute. I'm going to just use, if this command is successful, remember I'm going to use two ampersand sign. Hope you are familiar with that. So if this command is successful, this echo statement will work. Echo, and I'm going to say, okay, what is this? Execute permission for execute permission is set for is set, let's say is set for users or for owner, let's say owner and group. Okay, so remember when you separate two commands, if you notice there are two commands, one command is there, the other command is there. If you separate two commands, what is the meaning of that? If you separate two commands, it just means that yes, with the ampersand, double ampersand sign, it just means that if this first command is successful, then only the second command will be executed. If the first command fails, second command will not be executed. So simple as that. Okay, now I can check for the return value and then say whether the command is executed or not, but I will do it very simple to reduce the number of lines. So with that we have everything set. Let's go and let's copy this whole thing, Control C, and let's come back to the file here. Let me ls here, and what is my file name? I'm going to remove that file name, remove exc5.sh first. This is the fifth program, hopefully, yes. Now nano exc5.sh, and I'm going to paste it. Control O to save and exit. Now let's say sh exc5.sh. So I get the list. First one I'm going to display it. So list of files, list of directories with all the permission. So I got this one. Second one, okay, what is the second one? Second one says list of ordinary files with the assigned permissions. So I got it. Next, third option, count of number of directories and number of files. I got it. Okay. Next one, fourth one, list the file or directory in the current directory with the pattern. So enter the pattern. I'm going to say ex is my pattern. Enter it, and I will get ex. You notice that all of them are ex here. So I get the pattern there, ex. Okay, done. Let's go for the fifth option, execute permission. I want to give the execute permission for if you notice over here, let's go for ex b1.sh. I'm going to go for exb1. So you notice that I don't have the execute permission for the owner as well as for the group. So exb1.sh, exb1.sh is my file. Press enter and execute permission for the owner and group. Okay, let's list the ordinary files. I'm going to go for the two option, and what you notice, so ex b1, you notice this is the file. You have the execute permission, you have the execute permission for the user and for the group. So you have set that thing, and last one is to exit. Let's exit it, and that's the end of it. Okay, So this is what you are supposed to do. Hope I have done what was asked. List the names in directory and the present working directory. Okay. Okay, that's all. Okay, done. So that's all in this program. Thank you for your interest. We will meet again in the next class. If you notice that I have completed all the programs in the part C now. Thank you for your interest.